I've been getting bored with talking about stupid Nintendo games, so I wanted to fuel my film bro phase by talking about some upcoming movies. 2026 is coming up quick, and it looks like a stacked year for movies. Today, I want to discuss my thoughts on all the upcoming movies, and whether they will be worth seeing. I will avoid talking about movies that are sequels to movies I haven't seen for obvious reasons. Additionally, I won't be discussing many artsy movies here because they are usually announced much later in the year. Also, please note that my thoughts about these movies are only my personal opinions, so please don't be offended if I am more or less anticipated with an upcoming movie than you, because your opinion is just as valid as mine. I'll go in chronological order from January releases to December releases. To start things off, we have Project Hail Mary, releasing March 20th. The movie is based on a book by Andy Weir, who wrote The Martian. I won't go into great detail here because I don't want to rewatch the trailer since it apparently has a huge spoiler in it, so I'll try to keep it brief. It will be directed by Lord and Miller, who you may know for their work on movies like the Lego Movie and the Spider-Verse movies. I do trust the directors, and I love their previous works, though I am a little hesitant on whether they can pull off sci-fi epic. Although I like their style of humor, I really hope that it's able to translate into live action well enough without seeming too goofy. The trailer looks amazing visually, and I hope the story is just as good, and the trailer doesn't seem overly goofy as well, so I have some high hopes for this. Now, onto the Super Mario Galaxy movie, coming out on April 3rd. I've already talked about my thoughts and predictions in an earlier video, so I'll keep this brief. I think it looks and sounds great, just like the game, but I just hope the story and humor are better in this movie than the last Mario movie. Besides that, I can't wait to see one of my favorite Mario games adapted for the big screen. Now we have Disclosure Day, directed by Steven Spielberg, coming out on June 12th. Before seeing the teaser trailer, I was already pretty excited, but after seeing it, it was easily one of my most hyped of the year. I love how this really feels like a thriller, which is pretty different than most of the other Alien films he's made, so I really want to see how he can pull this off. The trailer gave off such an unsettling feel which just hooked me, and I really want to see what the symbolism will be with the deer and birds. I really hope this one sticks that landing and is as good as the marketing makes it look. Now we have Toy Story 5, coming out on June 19th. I'm gonna be honest, I think the franchise should have ended after 3. Yes, I know, it's a very cold take, but it just feels like the franchise is pretty creatively exhausted. Toy Story 4 wasn't a disaster, but you could definitely see that Pixar was running out of ideas with the movie's characters. The main characters just feel so well developed already that it just doesn't feel necessary. Don't get me wrong, tons of prequels and sequels weren't really necessary at all, but were still phenomenal. Toy Story 4, on the other hand, wasn't. As for 5, I actually do like some of the new ideas in it. I think the battle between toys and technology can introduce some great new storylines. I also like the fact that this movie has the same director as WALL-E, a film that I think is a cinematic masterpiece, so it does look to be in good hands. But I just think that the Pixar team should focus more on new and original ideas instead of trying to milk franchises that should be retired. Also, why is Woody in this? Wasn't the whole point of the 4th movie that he retired for being a toy and left the other toys? I really hope they come up with a good reason for that. In conclusion, I just really wish that this movie tries to justify its existence more than the last one. Next is Supergirl, coming out June 26th. I just want to say that the trailer that came out recently looks really good and seems like a lot of fun. I also really like Supergirl's cameo at the end of Superman from earlier this year. However, I just don't really feel sold on it yet. This movie is coming out just 1 year after the Superman movie, and the sequel to that one is coming out in 2027. That means there will be a Superman-esque superhero movie each year for 3 years, so I'm kind of afraid that I would be too burnt out by super content because of how often they come out. I think that I might see it if the reviews are good, and if not, I might catch it on Max once it comes out. I just need a little bit more time to see if I'm sold on it. Now we have the live-action Moana remake, coming out July 10th. Now, I have not seen the original Moana, but I still have some stuff to say about this. This remake, just like all the other live-action remakes, is completely pointless and essentially slop. It's not even been 10 years since the original came out. On what planet does this warrant a remake? If you want to re-experience Moana, literally just watch the original. Continuing to buy tickets for this would just condition Disney into making even more of these cash grabs, so I'm refusing to watch this movie. To drown out the taste of the Moana live-action remake, we now have Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, releasing on July 17th. I haven't read The Odyssey, so I don't really know what to expect from this right now, but I still have some thoughts. I think this movie will look and feel phenomenal, as expected from any Nolan movie. I really think he's a great director to make an epic really feel epic. However, I do have a couple of concerns. I'm a little afraid that a 3-hour movie would not be enough for a massive Greek epic. Oppenheimer was a good movie, but I still think that movie bit off a bit more than it could chew. It felt a little bloated despite its runtime, among its other flaws. And while I think Nolan is phenomenal as a director, I'm pretty mixed with him as a writer, with some of his screenplays ranging from Oscar-worthy to falling flat on itself, so I don't really know what to expect from this writing-wise. Despite this, I still expect this to be a visual treat and one of my most anticipated of the year. Now we have another movie with Tom Holland and Zendaya, Spider-Man Brand New Day, coming July 31st. To be honest, I kind of stopped watching the MCU a while back, which I will talk about more later, but I kind of wanted to come back to see this one, mostly because Spider-Man's one of my favorite superheroes. I'm not the biggest fan of the first two Tom Holland movies, but No Way Home was awesome to watch in theaters. I know it won't be as big, but I am pretty excited for this one. Apparently, this one will be more of a street-level story, which is a breath of fresh air after the last few movies, and Spider-Man literally fighting world-ending aliens in the Avengers movies. I really hope that Peter doesn't get back with MJ and becomes friends with Ned again, because that would completely ruin No Way Home's great ending. Besides that, I really hope this meets my expectations. Next we have a very unusual movie, a Clayface solo movie releasing on September 11th. Yes, this is a very odd pick for a villain solo movie, but I honestly want to see him cook. Clayface is a perfect pick for a body horror thriller, especially with his backstory, and the Joker movie proves that a DC villain solo movie can work well. Yes, there is a lot of room for error here, but I kinda want to see what they do here, especially if the reviews are good. Now we have The Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping, releasing on November 20th. As someone who read the original trilogy of books, though not the two most recent ones, I'm pretty excited for this one. Although the most recent movie had its flaws, I still thought it was pretty good, a lot better than either part of Mockingjay. I expect similar things from this one. The teaser looks really good and pretty, and equally thrilling. However, I'm not really sold on the concept of the movie. I think a prequel on Haymitch just seems kinda pointless, and we already know quite a bit about his Hunger Games win from the books, so I kinda struggle to see what this would add. However, I just hope it's on par with the last movie, and I'll be fine with it. Next, we have Jumanji 3, releasing on December 11th. I watched both of the new Jumanji movies in theaters, and I honestly kinda love them. I really like how funny and goofy they are, and they're just dumb fun adventures. They aren't the next Citizen Kane, but they're just a joy to watch. As long as the third movie is consistent with its tone and humor with the last two, I think that this movie would be just as good. I know that sequels to dumb action comedies may raise flags, but I like the second one even more than the first, so I'm not going to rule anything out. I just hope they're as fun as the last movies. Now we have Avengers Doomsday, releasing on December 18th. To be frank, I don't think I'm really excited for this. I stopped watching the MCU after Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and besides Brand New Day, I don't think I'm very interested in the MCU going forward. I feel like the quality of the Marvel content has been pretty all over the place. It just makes keeping up with the MCU so much harder to the point where I just called it quits. I'm not saying the post-Endgame was all bad by any means. I love No Way Home, and Guardians 3 is straight up phenomenal. However, his bad movies are probably worse than the last three phases' bad movies. I also think that the disconnectedness of the past few phases just made it a slog to keep track of everything. Like, why did they decide to make a new Avengers film 7 years after Endgame? It just makes most of the projects feel insignificant in the long run. I also really don't want to watch so many different shows and movies just to understand anything in Doomsday because I'm so far behind. Finally, I'm just afraid that Doomsday will focus too much on cameos and fan service and not enough on quality. Casting RDJ as Dr. Doom and the absurd amount of returning characters makes me scared of this, and the trailer of a certain returning character even further fuels my thoughts on this movie. In conclusion, there's just so much I'm frustrated about this movie in the MCU that makes me afraid of this movie's quality. I'm sorry, but I think I'm passing on this one. Last, but absolutely not least, Dune Part 3, releasing the same day. This is easily my most anticipated movie of 2026. Part 1 was mind-blowing, and Part 2 is straight up one of my favorite movies of all time. I love their storytelling, world building, incredible visuals, cinematography, and score. These movies just ooze with style, and I can't wait to see more of it. Denis Villeneuve is probably my favorite director now, with big thanks to these movies for really proving it to me. I haven't read Dune Messiah, which the movie is based on, so I'm ready to witness the story for myself. If this movie doesn't win Best Picture at the Oscars, I'll go completely insane. Though it probably won't win anyways because of how much the Academy hates sci-fi. Besides, the Oscars don't like most things that aren't period pieces, biopics, or racist musicals, so who cares what they think? This movie will be goated. So those are my thoughts on upcoming 2026 movies. If there are any major ones I missed, let me know, and I'll be happy to talk about them in the comments. As we come to the end of the year, I would also like to look back on 2025. This January, I will upload a video ranking every single 2025 film I've seen this year, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. Thanks for watching, and feel free to like and subscribe if you like this video. See you next time.